Hello guys, this is Malone. Welcome to a new Forex education video. On the previous videos, we learned about fundamental and technical indicators. And this is the time to learn about economic indicators. So the first economic indicator is called Gross Domestic Product or GDP. I'm sure that you know, or maybe you listened about this indicator before, right? So the gross domestic product is the total value of everything produced in the country. It doesn't matter if it's come from citizens or even foreigners. If they produce in the country, all this value is considered in the GDP. Also, the GDP avoids double counting. What does it mean? For example, if we have a shoes that is produced and made in any country, well, these shoes has different parts, right? So the GDP will not count each of these parts. It will also count the final value of this product, or for example, in this case, the final price of these shoes. Calculating GDP. The components of GDP include personal consumption expenditures plus business investment plus government spending plus exports minus imports, or also called balance. Now that you know what the components are, it's easy to calculate a country's gross domestic product using the standard formula C plus I plus G plus X minus M. When economists talk about the size of an economy, they are referring to the GDP. So how GDP will affect you? Well, GDP is very important for personal finance, but also for investment. Why? Because depending on different numbers of GDP, people will adjust their asset allocation. That means they will invest in different assets. For example, in Forex, if the GDP of the US is positive or is high related to the previous one, then we can invest in the US index. Of course, there are many other factors that will affect the US currency. And not just the internal economy. We can also know some other GDPs of different countries. So if you want to trade currency pairs, then you know, for example, the US GDP or the Japanese GDP, UK GDP, etc., etc. The US Central Bank, the Federal Reserve, uses the growth rate to determine monetary policy. It implements expansionary monetary policy to ward off recession and contractionary monetary policy to prevent inflation. Its primary tool is the federal funds rate. For example, if the growth rate is increasing, then the Fed raises interest rates to stem inflation. In this case, you should lock in a fixed rate mortgage. Your payments on an adjustable rate mortgage will rise along with the Fed funds rate. If growth slows or becomes negative, then you should update your resume. Slow economic growth leads to layoffs and unemployment that can take several months. It takes time for executives to compile the layoff list and prepare exit packages. And the second indicator is called unemployment rate. The unemployment rate is the percentage of all the unemployed workers in the total labor force. We have to know that the total labor force are all the unemployed workers plus the employed workers. Unemployed workers is all the people that are not working, that has no jobs. Even if they are willing or if they can really work in that moment. If they have no jobs, they are considered as unemployed workers. There are different types of unemployment. The first one, frictional unemployment, refers to temporary unemployment during the period when people are searching for a job. The next one is called structural unemployment, and is a mismatch between worker skills and locations and job requirements. And the last one is called seasonal unemployment, and is caused by seasonal patterns in economic activity, such as harvesting or tourism. The methodology for calculating the unemployment rate often varies among countries, since different definitions of unemployment or employment, as well as different data sources, are used. Here you can see some examples of unemployment data from different countries. Okay guys, so these are the two first economic indicators. In the next video, I will teach you more economic indicators. So I hope that you like this video and see you next time. Bye bye.